Most people misunderstand how extreme wealth is actually built. They assume it comes from luck, timing, or simply having a good idea at the right moment. It's a comforting belief, because it makes success feel random and out of reach. But when you look closely at individuals like Jeff Bezos, that illusion starts to break apart. What you find instead is a level of long-term thinking and strategic positioning that operates far beyond what most people are even aware of. When people hear Bezos' name, they immediately think of Amazon. They picture fast deliveries, online shopping, and convenience. But reducing Amazon to an online store completely misses the deeper reality of what was being built. From the beginning, Amazon was never just about selling products. It was about building infrastructure. While the public focused on buying books and electronics, Bezos was constructing a massive logistics network, data systems, and digital architecture that would eventually evolve into Amazon Web Services, a platform that quietly powers a huge portion of the internet today. This reveals something critical about how Bezos thinks. He does not build for what is popular now. He builds for what will become necessary later. And once something becomes necessary, people don't question it, they depend on it. That dependency is where real power and long-term wealth are created. While others chase trends, Bezos positions himself beneath them, creating the foundation that those trends will eventually stand on. This kind of thinking requires a completely different relationship with time. Most people think in days, weeks, or months. Some think in years. Bezos thinks in decades. He is not interested in reacting to headlines or short-term market movements. Instead, he focuses on where the world is heading and asks what systems will be required to support that future. This is why Amazon was able to operate at a loss for years while still expanding aggressively. It wasn't inefficiency. It was deliberate investment into a future that hadn't fully arrived yet. Now, if you follow this pattern carefully, you begin to notice something happening again. There is a shift in Bezos' focus, one that many people are either ignoring or misunderstanding. It is a shift away from purely Earth-based systems and towards something much larger in scale. This is where Blue Origin enters the picture. At first glance, Blue Origin looks like just another space company. The media often frames it as a competition between billionaires, comparing it to other ventures and turning it into entertainment. But that perspective is shallow. It focuses on the surface and completely ignores the underlying strategy. Blue Origin is not simply about rockets or space tourism. It is about positioning for an entirely new layer of economic activity that does not yet fully exist. Bezos has spoken about a future where heavy industry is moved off Earth. Manufacturing, energy production, and resource extraction could eventually take place in space, reducing strain on the planet while unlocking entirely new forms of economic expansion. To the average person, this sounds unrealistic, distant, or even absurd, but that reaction is exactly what creates the opportunity. The biggest shifts always look impossible in the beginning. They only become obvious after the infrastructure is already in place. What Bezos is doing now closely mirrors what he did with Amazon years ago. He is investing early in the systems that would make this future possible. Reusable rockets, launch capabilities, and long-term partnerships are not the end goal. They are the foundation. They are the equivalent of the warehouses and servers that once seemed excessive but later became essential. If space-based industries grow even partially into what is being envisioned, the companies controlling that infrastructure will be in a position of enormous power. This is where the idea of the next trillion-dollar industry begins to make sense. It is not just about space travel or exploration. It is about the entire ecosystem that develops around it. Satellite networks, orbital manufacturing, energy systems beyond Earth, and resource extraction from space all represent potential markets that are still in their infancy. Right now, they are easy to ignore because they are not yet part of everyday life. But neither was cloud computing in its early stages. Neither was global e-commerce. The reason most people miss these opportunities is not because they lack intelligence. It is because they are conditioned to wait for validation. They want proof before they take something seriously. They want to see success before they believe in it. But by the time something is proven, the largest gains have already been made. Early positioning always feels uncertain. It always carries doubt. That is why so few people are willing to act on it. Bezos operates differently. He is willing to move before certainty exists. He understands that waiting for clarity often means arriving too late. This does not mean acting recklessly, but it does mean accepting that the early stages of any major shift will look incomplete and unconvincing. Instead of relying on public opinion, he studies patterns, technological progress, and long-term needs. Then he places himself where those elements are likely to converge. There is an important lesson in this, and it has nothing to do with becoming Jeff Bezos. The real takeaway is learning how to observe the world differently. Most people consume information passively. They react to what is already happening. But if you start to pay attention to emerging technologies, policy changes, and global challenges, you begin to see patterns forming before they fully develop. You start to recognize where growth is likely to occur and which industries are being quietly built in the background. This does not require billions of dollars or access to exclusive networks. It requires awareness, patience, and a willingness to think beyond the present moment. It requires stepping back from constant distraction and asking deeper questions about where things are heading. When you do that, you begin to notice that the future is not as unpredictable as it seems. It leaves clues. It reveals itself gradually to those who are paying attention. The uncomfortable truth is that most people will continue to ignore these signals. They will focus on short-term entertainment, immediate concerns, and surface-level narratives. They will wait for trends to become obvious before engaging with them. And by that point, the opportunity to truly benefit will have already passed. This pattern repeats itself across every major shift, from the rise of the internet to the expansion of digital platforms and beyond. Want to start investing like a pro? Check out the links below to 2 of my all-time favorite investing books that can teach you how to spot opportunities and grow your wealth smartly. What sets Bezos apart is not just intelligence or resources. It is his ability to remain focused on what does not yet exist and to act on that vision long before it becomes widely accepted. While others debate and hesitate, he builds. While others react, he positions. And over time, those decisions compound into dominance within entire industries. In the end, the lesson is simple but difficult to apply. The biggest opportunities rarely look obvious in the beginning. They often appear uncertain, distant, or even unrealistic. But beneath that uncertainty is where the foundation of future wealth is created. Jeff Bezos understands this at a level most people never will. And while the world continues to focus on what is happening now, he continues to prepare for what is coming next. If you found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.